Hello everyone. Today in English we are going to see one chapter which is Forest Man of India. So everybody you would have listened the news or read in a newspaper that a man made a forest alone without anybody's help in 40 years. Okay? And he changed a barren land into a lush green forest. So, in this chapter, we are going to see how he turned that barren island into a lush green forest and how many challenges, how many helps he got in this trip or in this journey. Okay, so the big picture. Jorhat-based freelance journalist and wildlife photographer Jittu Kolita wrote about Jadev Payeng in the Assamese newspaper. So what happened is one journalist called Jittu Kolita, he wrote about this Jadev Payeng. So Jadev Payeng is him who has made or who has inspired our India. Okay. The Dainik Janmabhoomi in 2010 leading to hundreds of stories in various publications in the years that followed and gave him global recognition. So what happened is Ditto Kalita posted or wrote about him in the newspaper Dainik Janmabhoomi in 2010 so that people or global recognition means people got to know about Jadev Payeng. Okay, this text is about Jadev Payeng, a reforestation hero from Assam. So now here I will tell you what is reforestation. Reforestation means changing a barren land into a lush green forest. For example, there is a barren land. In that land, if you are planting some trees, that process is called reforestation. Okay. Assam. So if they ask you question, where was Jadev Payeng from? You want to tell Assam. Okay. Who has inspired millions of people in India and abroad. It depicts the beginning of his journey as a forestry worker. So, what was he before? He was a forestry worker. And how he went on to become an icon for India as he single-handedly. So, single-handedly means not having a single hand. It means that he alone only turned this barren land into a forest. Okay. And turn 550 acres of barren land into a lush green forest on the Brahmaputra. Where they may ask you, so you want to write Brahmaputra. Okay. So now we are going to go to the main topic. So this is island name. You should underline it. Okay. Majuli Island because this is very important. They may ask you where Jadev Payeng reforested or where he made a forest is Majuli Island. Okay. Yes, we'll start. So Majuli Island is said to be the world's largest river island. Which is the largest river island? Majuli. Okay. It is located on Brahmaputra river in Assam and covers more than 350 square kilometers. It has population of about 150 people. It's given 150,000, but in India it's 150,000 people in 144 villages. So Majuli Island has 144 villages and its length is 352 square kilometers. Okay. This pollution-free island is a wetland and the habitat to rare plants and animal species. Wetland means the land is always wet. Without not only with rain, but it's always wet. It's never dry. Okay. However, it can be dangerous place to live. Why? They may ask you question. Why is Majuli Island a dangerous place to live? So please listen this carefully. When the river and the island suffers from massive soil erosion along its banks, what happens when rain? If the land is if on the land there are no trees, means the soil gets washed away. But if there are trees, the trees will catch the roots in their catch the soil in their roots so that the soil does not get washed away. So if the land does not have any trees, means the soil will get washed away, nothing else will happen, right? So erosion and villages get washed away and the island suffers from massive soil erosion along its banks. This has only intensified intensified with global warming. Means this has made stronger global warming. Okay. In last 50 years, the island has halved in size, and there are fears that it will be fully submerged by 2040. Means they are telling me submerged means the half island is in water and half island is on water. So they have a fear that it will be fully submerged. Though the danger to the island has become clear in recent years, and the government has set aside funds to halt the erosion. Halt means stop. In 1979, it was a 16-year-old Jadev, okay, who has noticed what was happening. So what happened? He saw that global warming is happening, soil is getting washed away. Seeing this everything, and one more they have given why he was right. After a flood, a large number of snakes had been washed upon a sandbar. Sandbar means there is nothing but just sand on the land. Okay, and due to hot sun and lack of tree cover, they died. So what happened is during a flood, Jadev saw that the snakes got washed away on a sandbar, means near water. Sandbar will be there like beach. So snakes got washed away on the sandbar, and what happened is because the sun was very hot and there were no trees, the snakes died. So what happened? It affected him deeply. He alerted his local forest department asking them to plant more trees in the area. So what happened? Seeing this, he asked the local forest department to plant some trees in the area, but the response was nothing would grow there. But what the people told, no plants would be grown there. Okay. He asked some tribal people in a nearby village for advice, and they agreed that planting trees was the answer. They gave him 25 bamboo saplings, chosen because they were hardy plants. Now they may ask you why only they gave hardy plants to Jadev. So here is the answer, because they were hardy plants. Now many trees, like many trees or any tree requires so much water and so much sunlight or correct amount of sunlight and all. But bamboo saplings, what happened is they can survive in any condition. If they have little rainfall also they can survive. If they have little sunshine also they can survive. Like that, because hardy also means that they are very strong. Not like other trees which will fall in the storm. But bamboo, what happens is they are very hard, means very strong. So Jadev started planting trees on a barren land or sandbar in the middle of the island. So what happened is he started to plant those bamboo saplings on the sandbar in the middle of the island. He started with the bamboo saplings and then began planting other species. So what happened? If bamboo has grown, means he got to know that bamboo is growing, then other plants can also grow. So he started to plant other trees or species. He built a boat when he still uses to this day and began collecting saplings to plant in his dry areas of the land. So here you can see the picture is depicting the same, that he is bringing some saplings to the land and planting it like this. Okay. He even stopped going to school as the project took over his life. So what happened is he took over his life and stopped even going to school. Okay. At first people thought he was mad. Okay. But an agricultural scientist, Jadev Barua, saw his wisdom and gave him saplings of palm leaves to the plant. So what happened is, first the people thought that he was very mad, just planting in the sandbar, how the plants will grow there. But one agricultural scientist, Jadev Barua, gave him some palm leaves. Palm means betel leaves, to plant there, telling him that if he continued planting trees, they would take care of all of us. Okay. After about 5 years, the trees he had planted to seed themselves, and over 40 years the forest has become dense and lush. So here one sentence is given that he had planted began to seed themselves. What happens Now plants, they will have seeds on their leaves, so on their flowers. But now like rain is there, because of that the seeds will get be washed away, or they may be fly in the wind. So what happens is, we have learned this dispersal of seed. In that, what happens, seed will get dispersed to another place, and there the tree will grow. Like that it has happened. So they are telling that forest he planted began to seed themselves, and over 40 years the forest has become dense and lush. Lush means fully green, attracting many species of animals that had been gone from that area. These include animals such as leopard, apes, elephants, Indian rhinos, vultures, wild boars, Bengal tigers, snakes, and deer. The forest is also visited by a huge variety of migratory birds. Migratory means they will be moving, the birds will be moving from one place to another to change, means some climatic conditions which would not suit them will be in another part of the continent. For example, one bird is there in Asia, so means India, where he has only winter as his suitable climate. So the bird can live only in winter season, means after some time when the place gets summer season, the bird will move to another place, because they need some suitable conditions to live there, or climate, whose habitats around the world are disappearing. When the area floods, the roots of the tree keep the land from being swept away. Now first we saw that soil erosion is happening, but here now what is the good advantage is that the trees are like what they are doing, keep the land from being swept away. Swept away means washed away, okay, by strong water. What started as a young boy planting a tree every day has developed into a sprawling man-made forest. Man-made, sprawling means spreading out far wide. Sprawling man-made, because he only made. Now already that land had nothing. Made forest of 560 hectares. So acres is 550, but 560 hectares. Okay, which has attracted animals, birds, and insects from the nearby Kaziranga National Park. So Kaziranga National Park is in Assam. So there the forest has attracted many animals and birds, insects also. It is also called the Molai forest after its creator Payeng, whose childhood name was Mola, which means little radish. So what was his full name was Jadev Mole Payeng. So taking the name Mola, they have kept the name Molai forest to this new forest he has created. Okay, so it was known as little radish in his local language. Now nearly 60 years old, he still plants trees to this day and vows to continue until his last breath. Vows means what? Promises. Okay. His work was discovered by a journalist in 2010. Now only in the first page we saw that one journalist called Jitu Karita wrote a story in a newspaper which got Jadev into a global recognition. So the date is the exact date which we saw at the first page, right? And new stories about the forest that sprung from barren wasteland went around the world. Sprung means seared, grown quickly. So his story has inspired many documentaries. Documentary means they will go to the place, visit Jadev and ask him some questions like an interview also you can tell. Okay. Children's books. Students in the USA learn about Payeng in their ecology class. Ecology means these classes will be based on environment. Okay. On a World Earth Day in 2010, the Indian government gave him the title of what? The Forest Man. Keep it in your mind. They may ask you the question. Okay. When? In 2010. Okay. And he was awarded with Padma Shri. Padma Shri is the 4th civilian award. Okay. He is now a celebrity who gives regular talks on strategies for saving at-risk environments. At-risk environments means where the soil is getting washed away, more landslides are causing, which have suffered deforestation like these lands. Okay, when not doing that, he still leads to a simple life, milking cows and buffaloes that graze in the forest. So, as he is a celebrity, he does not show off or do anything. He is a very simple life. He leads a very simple life as he used to lead before too. So, he is particularly proud of a herd of elephants which lives in the forest for about 3 months every year. Yes. Now here one word or one sentence you can tell that why is he proud of herds of elephants? Why? Because when elephants eat some fruits, vegetables, those seeds come in their feces. So what happens? These feces nourish the seed and cause the seed to grow there. So what happens is the feces of the elephant will become a manure and which will help to grow the seed. Okay, and the seed will be like it will become a plant again. Okay, which lives in the forest for about 3 months every year. There are some who fear the predators that the wildlife in the forest attracts. He has also lost a large number of his own livestock to tigers. So what happens is he is scared of predators. Predators means here you can see animals that hunt and eat other animals. So what happened is in the jungle he had his own cows, like livestock of cows. What happened? The tiger or the predator tiger has eaten the cows. So he has lost his large number of own livestock to tigers. And after a nearby village was destroyed by elephants, what happened? Suddenly elephants came and destroyed the village. Many blamed Payeng. Because of your forest only elephants are coming and destroying the villages. They started to blame Payeng. However, his main fear is what man can do to this forest. So now we are learning this much in our social studies and science class that poachers means who? The people who hunt animals illegally, okay, for their tusks because they fetch good money, right? That's why. So, and in the past there were some people who wanted to clear the forest for agriculture, okay. He is a great believer in educating young people about biodiversity and planting trees. So biodiversity is the variety of plants and animals in a place, okay. So he likes educating young people about biodiversity and planting trees. He says that trees are the lifeline of a forest. If there are trees, it is a forest. If there is no trees, it's a barren landscape. Okay? Barren landscape, the land which does not even have one tree also. And it is not capable to grow a tree because the soil is infertile. Not only do they give us oxygen and shade, but they also support other smaller plants, animals, and birds and bring balance to the ecosystem. So why? Because they don't even give us oxygen and they give us oxygen and shade, but they also support some small plants, birds and animals. Means birds will live there, animals will sleep there. Some plants will be behind, like below the trees, and bring balance to the ecosystem. So ecosystem is what? A community of living organisms that interact with each other and environment. Okay? He wants that every child at school to be taught how to plant a sapling and says that if all of us had started planting trees at the same time as he had, global warming and climate change would most likely have been halted. Halted means stopped. So what he is telling is, if everybody start to plant a sapling or at least a plant in their house or anywhere in their surroundings, the global warming would be halted or stopped. He believes that living a simple life and honoring nature will help us survive. So what he is telling, he believes that living a simple life and honoring nature will help us to survive. So why? Because if you honor nature, means if you don't cut trees or if you don't have animals and birds, then only we can survive. Because forests, animals, birds are part of our nature. Okay. He worries that humans will continue to consume until nothing is left on earth. He thinks that now what people are doing, they are cutting trees, building buildings. They are cutting trees, they are building buildings. Right? So he is thinking that. Comparison have been made with the 1953 fictional story. So fictional means it is not real, it's just an imaginary story, okay? The Man Who Planted Trees by French writer Jean Guiano. But Jadev Payeng's story is real. As in Guiano's stories, one man has reforested an vast area, which has brought new life to a once barren stretch of land. So it is a lesson to all of us. So what they are telling, one French writer Jean Guiano, he also wrote one fictional story, means just an imaginary story that one man has changed a barren landscape into a forest. But Jadev Payeng, what he did, he made the story real, and his story is really real. So here you can see a picture for a reference which I am showing here. It is his forest. Here is planting trees, and here is bringing saplings to plant here. So this was our story of English, the Forest Man of India. Hope you enjoyed. Like, share and comment. Okay. If you have any doubts, you can comment. Okay. Thank you.